But most importantly, make sure we don't cut a hole that's too big. He's happy now. To put the glazing sealant in a bucket of warm water because it's quite cold, and when it's cold it's really hard to squeeze it out using a mastic gun. Now the trick to using this stuff is don't paint it on, you've got to do it in one swoop. It should be good. We don't use that because we're not going along the edge of the glass. And when we get to the end, we simply pass by like that. And that's it.
Yep.
Do you like that, Heidi?
Just come back to cooking.
Hello and welcome back to another video. For those of you that are new here, my name's Mel and I live full-time in this Mercedes Sprinter camper van. But today I'm going to be helping Steve fit a window in his Renault Master Camper Conversion, which he's been working on for the last 3 months, 4 months? 3 months, about that. We're a bit unsure. It's been a while. Anyway, Renault Master has got a slightly different panel setup to most regular vans. It's a little bit different. On a van such as a Sprinter, they're two skins. So you go inside the van and you can kind of work out where to cut the outer skin to fit the glass. But take a look at this inside the Renault Master. It's a little bit awkward. So that's why Steve's asked me to give him a hand. Because inside the panel you can see there is no inner skin. There's a little bit of a lip at the bottom, a little bit of a lip at the top, but at the sides it just goes to the side rib. So we need to work out from outside the van rather than inside how we're going to cut this hole out, make it so the glass fits nice and snug. But most importantly, make sure we don't cut a hole that's too big. Right, so let's get on with it and take a look at how we're going to work this out. So we're going to use a roll of masking tape to work out the distance in, because the thickness of this is constant. So, see, if we hold this, right, at the bottom of that line there,
Yep.
right, like that, take it along now, pull it kind of tight onto that dot, down a bit, or thereabouts. It doesn't have to be spot on, that's it, stick it on, right. Now take this off down. So what we're going to do, because we're a little bit unsure, never cut a hole in one of these vans before, what we're going to do, we're going to cut a big hole like that first, take that bit of metal away, and then we can look and compare where these lines line up on the inside. Just to be double safe. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. He's happy now. Before we make a final cut, this is like just a cut to see. Now once again, before we do any metal cutting, we're going to cover up the metal underneath where we're going to cut, because we don't want any hot metal shards sticking to the paintwork and going rusty later on. Not only that, we don't want to destroy the paintwork either, do we, Steve? Might want to move that glass as well,
yeah,
because you don't want any metal filings getting on the glass that will stick to it, and it's pretty impossible to get it off.
Exactly the same, yeah.
It's not, there's a lot less tolerance for it to work. The glass will still fit in there, but the actual runner will be about here.
Okay.
Top line's okay, bottom line, a little bit too low. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you need to redo this again.
Okay.
And this is what it's all about, measuring, just checking until you're confident you've got the hole in the right place. In hindsight, maybe it would have been a good idea just to drill these 4 holes to begin with.
Yeah.
Because then you can measure it from outside and inside.
Oh,
Yeah, you live and learn.
get you in.
I've never fitted a window to one of these.
No.
That's why I'm being super cautious. So now what I want to do is measure from there to there.
Yeah.
To make sure we've got it in the right place. So I think we finally got our final measurements after much deliberation. Leave a little bit like that on the top, do that bit last. Okay. If you cut right across the top, when you go to do the bottom, the weight of it's going to go forward. Yeah, right. Yeah. So cut the bottom first, so then it's hanging from the top. He's just told me he's got a nibbler. I've never used a nibbler. I would love to have a go at using a little nibbler. Oh, it goes on a drill.
Yeah. Never used one.
Never used one.
I've only used one once. Sure.
Yeah, it punches little holes out as it goes. It's a bit like a sewing machine, but it takes metal.
Okay.
I want one of them. Can I have a go? Oh, he's going to let me have a go across the top.
Yeah.
Because he's short. Let's have a go. Well, I've never used one of these before, ever. So, right. There's ribs in this as well. Will it go through the ribs or will it come to us?
I would have thought so.
Let's find out, shall we? I think I prefer me jigsaw. Yeah, there might be a rib there and it's sticking on it. Yeah, look, there's the rib there.
Right.
So yeah, it won't go through the ribs. There you go. My very first attempt at using a nibbler failed miserably because there's a rib inside. So the nibbler will only go through one skin of metal at a time. To go any further than that, we're going to have to get our trusty jigsaw out. Good. Good. There you go. All yours, Steve. Take it away. Oh, it's sticky, isn't it? There you go. Last little bit should just twist off. There you go. There you go. Easy as that, eh? Too easy.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Just the outside, yeah? The inside, look. Well, the inside not too bad, right?
Yeah, it'd be the outside because the way the saw works, it rips the metal, so you end up with that horrible nasty edge. Yeah, that's perfect, Steve. So now just get some paint to protect the metal from going rusty, and then we can put the trim over it once the paint dries.
Cool, baby.
Too easy, mate, too easy.
I think that's it.
We might miss a bit there. Just kidding.
I say because I've got the light here.
So whilst that paint dries, we're going to have some lunch. Back in a minute. Lost me side cutters.
What?
Pliers.
Pliers.
Cutters. Oh, there they are, look, just there on top of my toolbox. Black handle, that's why I can't see them.
Oh,
That's them. These are the best things for cutting this trim.
right.
Side cutters. Got it. Yep, that's it. Sealant. So what I'm going to do now is get Steve to put the glazing sealant in a bucket of warm water because it's quite cold, and when it's cold it's really hard to squeeze it out using a mastic gun. So the best way to make this come out using just a normal manual mastic gun is to actually put it in a bucket of hot water. Simple as that. Whilst this is warming up, we're going to clean all the surfaces of the van and also clean the surfaces of the glass as well using a little alcohol pad that they supply you. Right, let's give this to Steve to get it nice and warm. So we've got this special little wind bond wipe. It's really important that once you've cleaned the glass, once you've cleaned the van, you don't touch anything else where you've touched this, because this is actually acts as part of the bonding process. We'll start by cleaning the glass first. So after all, that's the important bit. And it says lots of fingers on here. Lots of people have touched it. Just want to see where that mark is. You don't want to wipe that pen mark off. Now off camera, we actually held the glass up against there and then used the marker pen all the way around on the inside to mark the glass so we know where the mastic has got to go. Good. This is primer. Very important you use this special glass primer, because if you don't, chances are your windows are going to leak. And if you buy this all in a kit, you get this lovely little cotton bud as well. Now the trick to using this stuff is don't paint it on. You've got to do it in one swoop, or try as hard as you can anyway. It's pretty difficult to do. But yeah, don't try and paint it on, because if you try and paint it on, as you go back over where you've already been, it actually lifts it off. So, do you want to do this? Do you want to have a go?
No, you do. I'm good. Listen, I'm a painter, I know exactly how I'll do it. Right. Totally the wrong way.
We'll start at the top, because inevitably there's too much on this. Let's just move the camera at the van. Might help. And it's bound to run, so if I start at the top and it runs, it just runs into this, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to try and get it in the middle, like this. I can hold it about that far away, all the way around. It should be good. This is the important bit, the narrow corridor I was talking about just now. Can you hold that, because I'm bound to spill it off. See how it's running? That's why I started at the top. So if you start at the bottom and it runs, it's impossible to get off.
Right.
That's why I started up here. Because you've got such a nice shiny blue van, you can see where I've gone over it twice. You see where it's come off again?
Yeah.
So just try and roll it if you can. See that gap. There you go. Yeah, so if you try and paint it on, it just makes a mess. It really does. And that's all you need to do, because that's where we're going to put our mastic on the glass. So now we do the glass. Now all these window sealing kits come with this little nozzle that goes on the end of the mastic tube. You simply cut this end off, because this is a guide for guiding along the edges of glass. We don't use that because we're not going along the edge of the glass. So simply trim that off, and then this V is to make the mastic stand up on the glass like that. Then when you offer it to the van, it squishes it and forms our seal. Now in my experience, this V really isn't big enough, so I like to cut this out to give us more of a peak in the window sealing strip. So there you go, that's what it looks like modified. There's not a lot in it, all I've done is cut this tiny little bit of plastic off, and the reason I do this is because of this trim. Now this trim is quite high and quite proud from the metal surface, so by cutting a little bit extra off, it allows the mastic to be that little bit higher, and it just makes it bond that little bit better. Final step of preparation is putting a little bit of masking tape up here. We're just going to simply loop it back on itself. So once we put the glass in place, we can undo that, glue it to the glass. So I've got a little bit higher because it'll be in the way. And then that way we're sure that our glass doesn't drop down the panel. And once I've done this, we're ready to go. There we are. So, pull that off there. We don't need that. Yeah. There we go. Perfect size. So, and it gives us a nice big hole. And then we can wipe that off. That's nice and warm. Yeah. Should come out quite easy. Cool. So you see how that stands up now. So it leaves that nice long, like pyramid shape. And I'm just going to follow the primer, the liner primer. Keep it on there. And this will squish out loads. So if there is a slight mismatch between this primer and the primer that's on the van, doesn't really matter. Yeah. That's another reason for making this stand up quite high and just modifying it slightly, just to ensure you do get a nice seal. I'm so glad you warmed this up because it really is hard to squeeze the trigger. Yeah. Yeah, run, spider. Yeah, careful. He's dicing with it. He had a lucky escape. He did, he nearly got immortalised in window sealer. Oh, go back a bit now. These channels here, they're the drain holes. They're to let water from this gully or runner go down and out. But because of these, the glass does tend to sit proud at the bottom. I've had people comment saying, oh, the glass is sticking out at the bottom. Well, that's why. Obviously, if it wasn't an opening window, then you wouldn't have these gullies. And when we get to the end, you simply pass by like that. And that's it. And then lick your finger, nice and wet, and just touch those two together, and that will seal it perfectly fine. That's it. Down about there. So there you go, just enough in one tube to do this huge big window. Right, let's stop talking and get it stuck to the van. Now remember what we rehearsed?
Yeah, we'll do that.
All you've got to do is support the bottom to make sure, just in case this does give way. Alright? Yep. We're going to go top first. Alright, line it up. You see that camera? Yep. That line up? Yep. Just like over. Just like over. In my eyes, check how it seems.
Spreads it out.
Spread it out. Yeah, that's nice and level there. That's all really fancy on there. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Lift it a little bit.
Oh!
It's a little bit low there.
Sexy!
It's nice and straight. It's definitely in. Just lift it slightly, I think. Do you like that, Heidi?
He's gone back to cooking.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Easy.
Good.
It works. Well done.
It did. It did.
I didn't know. I might have made plastic. There you are. And that, ladies and gents, is how you fit a bonded window to the side of a Renault Master. So there you go. If you like this video, please do give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time. And also, if you enjoyed watching this video, I'm sure you will find this video just as entertaining. Ta-da for now.